Alright, so for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Klein Tools Mag2 Magnetizer and Demagnetizer that Klein has to offer. Now this is for use with your screwdrivers, and you are able to get a pretty good variety of sizes of screwdrivers to go into the magnetizer. Now this guy is pretty small and compact. You can easily, with the clip that they provide, you can easily just clip it onto your bag and use it as needed. So here is the, it's pretty much almost all plastic except for the magnets and the clip, or it's at least covered in plastic, and everything is just stamped onto the plastic. So up top here is going to be your magnetizer, and then down below you have your demagnetizers. You have 3 different sizes, and then just one universal size for your different screwdrivers there on the top. And the back side of the tool is almost the same. You just don't have the Klein Tools logo. You do have a magnetic warning, and then some more warnings up there. And then I'm not quite sure what that little guy is, but I'm thinking that's the year that the tool was produced, the month and the year, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's pretty much the same as the other side. It is pretty much an all-plastic tool. It's a fairly inexpensive tool from Klein Tools, but it has, it serves its purpose for what it does. It's not too crazy, too crazy details to look at. So I'll bring in some screwdrivers here. So we just got a standard, I believe this is just a number 2 Phillips right here from Klein. And bring in a couple screws here that aren't magnetized. So you just got some Tapcons here. And you can see they want to stick right to that magnet. But your screwdriver right now can't exactly pick those guys up. So you just run your blade through there a couple of times, or run it up and down the blade a couple of times, and it magnetizes the tip of the blade of the screwdriver. So that way when you're working with some of those hard to reach or some of the smaller fasteners or screws, and you're having a hard time, it just wants to keep falling off on the tip of the screwdriver, you can magnetize it and it'll stay on the end. Now if you don't want your tip to be magnetized anymore, you just put it through the demagnetizer. You run it through few times. There's no really set point. Obviously you want to do it more than once. You run it through a few times, and boom, as you see right there, your screws are no longer, or I should say your the tip of the screwdriver is no longer magnetized, and the screws are no longer going to stick to it. So that is with just just your standard number 2 Phillips from Klein. I do have a few smaller offerings from Klein to see how well they work, and bring in a couple of the smaller size fasteners. So this is kind of like the style of screw I'm talking about. Like, it can be a little bit hard to hold on to, and sometimes it's in awkward positions, and it just does not want to stay on the number 2 or on that Phillips side screw fairly easily. So what you do is you just put it in the magnetizer and you magnetize it a few times, and now you go ahead and pick that screw up, and you can also put it on the tip of the screwdriver and it'll hold. Now, it's not going to be the most strongest thing in the world. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on it when you're trying to screw it in, because the screw will kind of move and stuff and can fall off, but it's a lot better than trying to sit there and hold the screw and screw it in at the same time. And again, if you wanted to demagnetize it, you just put it in the hole that fits it the best, and you just run the demagnetizer over it, and it is no longer magnetized. So we'll do it with this super small, I kind of forget what the size of this is. I think it's 1/8 of an inch slotted. So we'll go ahead and magnetize that guy. Just run it up and down a few times, and boom, it is magnetized. So it's pretty nice working feature. And then you just stick it back through and demagnetize it right there, and then your screws are no longer going to be magnetized to your screwdriver. So it's a pretty simple tool. Going to end up being a pretty short review on this guy. Now, there are some other magnetizers out there that if you're working with some larger, maybe like a 5/16 slotted, I believe the max you can go through here is a 1/4 inch slotted that will fit in here. But there are some others out there that have larger magnetizers that have a lot larger of an opening. So if you're using a lot larger of a screwdriver, like a 5/16 for something, and you wanted that to be magnetized, you would have to go with one of those options compared to this little guy. And this little guy isn't terribly expensive. I think it was like $10, $15, something like that. Definitely a nice little accessory to have and just to clip onto the side of your tool bag. Again, it's not something you're going to want to use every day unless you like your screwdrivers being magnetic. I personally don't like my screwdrivers being magnetic. all the time, unless I'm working with, you know, a little tight screw and it's in just the worst place possible to, I have to screw it into. And then it is nice to have that magnetized head, so then I don't have to worry about the screw falling off, and it works great for that, and then I can easily demagnetize it when I'm done. So with that being said, just, you know, like I said, short review, definitely a cool little tool to have. I'm not sure if Lowe stocks these in store. Home Depot used to carry these in the store. I'm not sure if Lowe's does, and if they do, I'm not sure if it's in the electrical section or if it's in the tool section. So if you are looking to pick this guy up, I will leave some links down in the description below. Your mileage may vary, and also I have seen it at some of the electrical wholesalers that we've gone to, so you can always pick it up from one of them if you are looking for it. And that's probably, you know, your best bet at finding it locally if you don't want to order it online. But if you do want to order it online, like I said, I'll leave some links down in the description below, and I will also leave the product page in the description below if you want to learn some more about this tool from Klein. But with that being said, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching.